All right, so we're going to work on page 2, basic drawing, okay? So there's a couple of things you kind of need to know when you're drawing, all right? So when I have people draw, I like to have them break it down, all right? So I'm going to give you a couple of basics on how to go about drawing, or how I would like you to go about drawing, and then you're going to work on the packet page, okay? So just so you know, you can kind of look at your drawing basics, but for now I just want you to watch this, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is something called mapping, okay? So on there it says, using shapes and lines, create a map of where the objects are and fill the space, okay? So let's imagine that I'm going to be drawing this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am never going to trace it. I don't want you to trace things, okay? Tracing is a great skill, but unfortunately not a skill that I am wanting you to do for this, okay? So mapping kind of tells you where things are. So for example, how I'd map is I use shapes and lines to figure things out, okay? So I'm going to imagine that I could put in some shapes and lines, almost like the skeleton of this, okay? So I can almost imagine like a line going down here, maybe some ovals, circles, maybe a rectangle, okay? So I'm just going to kind of lightly map this out. Okay. This a little bit smaller, okay? So I have this mapped out. So mapping is very light because I'm going to erase it later, all right? So that's the first thing, all right? The next you'll see is something called contour lines. So contour lines are the edges of things. This is where we start defining the edge, okay? So I'm going to go in, putting the edge lines in, okay? This is where I'm going to look back and forth a lot at my object and just say, okay, where does this line down? Where does this? I'm using my mapping to help me guide me where I need to go. Okay. I know you probably can hear the music in the background. It's okay. Hopefully that's not too distracting. All right. So you notice that sometimes I'm not even touching my mapping. Here, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can really see. Okay. Go around and through. All right. This is close. Not bad, right? Okay. So we have that. All right. So we have our mapping to kind of tell where things are, and our contour lines. Now, a lot of times people go straight to the contour lines and they realize they're like, this doesn't look right, or it's a little bit off, or something, you forget something. That's why it's kind of important to put these extra lines in there so you know where things are. All right, the last one, okay, so the last thing that you need to worry about is something called finishing details. Finishing details, okay? So finishing details are a couple of things. They are all, first of all, you're going to have to get your mapping out. This is why you have to erase. Now, I know people are like, well, why do I need to even put them if they're going to be erased? It's kind of important, okay? A lot of people will just try to jump in and it doesn't quite come out. So, finishing details. 1, get rid of those lines, all right? Then, go in and put those extra lines in. Put in all the other things that belong in there. So, I have like M's right here, okay? I have this line here. These beautiful little lines. Kind of actually looking like it, right? Yeah, it's amazing what the mapping can do. All right, I think it stops right about there. Then we have this rectangle. Okay, I got the other lines down there, right here. Okay, we also have this beautiful line right here that goes around, all right, curves in here. Now these are all these finishing details, the edges and other things, all right? Now, other things. So you probably put the extra details here, extra details. Coloring would be here, okay? I know I make my G's weird. A shading would belong here, okay? Now, what happens if you had a 3D instead of something flat? Okay, so something like this. All right, you kind of do the same thing. All right, you look where all the lines are, okay, and you put in some shapes. So, for example, I could see, let's see, there's a couple. I see a cylinder here, I see a cylinder here, maybe some triangles. So another one in the back. This line, well, that looks like a kind of like a crooked rectangle. Okay, I'd put that. And also, by the way, if a line looks like it's going up, draw it go up. If a line looks like it's going down, draw it go down. Don't be so picky and be like, I know it goes down, so I'm going to draw it going down. Don't. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. Okay? All right, so other things, something like this, circles. Other circles would be great. I might put a line here to connect them. Okay? Another might be, even something like this. Okay, this is a magnet. Kind of see the shapes that are kind of going in. All right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check out what you need to do on your packet. Okay, so for you guys, sorry if your images are a little bit off, and I do notice that there is one box missing an image. Okay, I do have a copy in here for you. I just gotta give it to you, and you're gonna have to paste it in. Sorry. All right, so for this, you're going to do mapping. Okay, on the first row. That means you're just gonna do the small little shapes and lines. Okay, tell me where things are. Of this one in here. This one is going to get mapping, but in this place. The next one, you're going to build on. So it's going to mapping and contour lines. Okay? As I said, I will give you that one. Just going to have to give it to you afterwards. Okay? Now, next, this one. These are all put together. Now, I say that go find it in a book or online. But you know what? I think we're going to change this up just a little bit. This image that you look up, and by the way, I need a real object, okay, real image. I want this one to be black and white. Black and white. And this one, I want you to find something that is in color, okay? So you can finish these off a little different, all right? And once you're done with these, please make sure that you upload this to Seesaw, okay? And then when you're done, you can start working on your other activities, either a lab or an exploration.